The other side of that coin is with how it's going to look going forward, because
New Zealand and the market that's there and some of the work.
I've been involved in the New Zealand ETS since the beginning. We are market makers of carbon.
Ladies and gentlemen, as negotiations of Article 6 of the Paris Agreement stretch on in the meeting rooms around us, the global emissions gap widens, we are struck by the importance of reaching consensus on the critical issues that are required to ensure a bright future for global carbon markets. This is because it is increasingly clear that these discussions are less about tricky financial mechanisms and legal text and more about how we envision the transition of our economies and systems of value in a carbon-constrained world. With this in mind, we welcome the opportunity to discuss the current and future potential of carbon markets, in particular in the Pacific region. For developing island states like Fiji, facing development challenges that are compounded daily by the impact of climate change, carbon markets actually offer a source of opportunity and a different lens from which to view and appreciate the environmental wealth of the Pacific region. All markets function to create and represent value. Value is a reflection of utility. The prices of the amount of currency we want to give up in exchange for a certain utility. These are the basic concepts of economics. When we talk about carbon markets, we are asking the question, what is the utility or price of a stable climate? In other words, how valuable is reducing climate change to our economies? That answer is quite clear. Climate change is multi-trillion-dollar global economic risk and market externality. That our economies have caused and incentivized the drivers of costly climate change is evidence of fundamental market failure. So how do we sort out this great economic underestimation? Quite simply, we need to price carbon. In light of the escalating climate crisis, humanity needs to put a much greater price on all legitimate opportunities to not only sequester and store carbon, but also wean ourselves of our addiction to carbon emissions producing activities. If a global carbon market existed in its truest form, the low-emitting, big ocean states of the Pacific, which is also the world's largest carbon sink and oxygen-producing body, might be in a much different economic position than they are today, than we are today. Unfortunately, the world's valuing of vital ecosystem services remains rudimentary at best. Thankfully, the Paris Agreement, through Article 6, opens the door for a much more robust understanding and valuing of nature's services. This is why reaching an agreement on Article 6 is so important. Please let me turn my attention now to the Pacific and some of the efforts in Fiji to use market mechanisms to incentivize activities to reduce emissions. Through our engagement with RED+, we have developed early experience in the challenges and benefits of offset programs. In Fiji, 50% of our land, or approximately 1 million hectares, is forested, and nearly 90% of this forest is classified as highly diverse, what we call primary forests. Forest degradation and deforestation in a small island nation like Fiji has major implications for environmental and human resilience. Deforestation can increase the risk of landslides, contaminate our freshwater resources, damage coral reefs due to increased runoff, increase flood risk, spread invasive species, reduce the fertility of soils, and damage our native biodiversity. That is why the Fijian government committed to increasing our total forest cover by 56% in our current National Development Plan. Earlier this year, we announced our intention to plant 4 million trees in 4 years, which is by 2022. To date, we have planted 600,000 trees. We made similar commitments in relation to our mangroves, recognizing the value of enhancing blue carbon assets. We began developing our National RED+ program back in 2009 with the support of the Secretariat of the Pacific Community and the German government. In 2011, we launched our National RED+ policy in an effort to sustainably manage and protect our forest resources and ultimately enhance our forest-based carbon balance. Fiji then joined World Bank's Forest Carbon Partnership Facility in 2013 and began undertaking activities through a readiness program to strengthen the institutional arrangements for RED+. and we are soon to finalize a purchase agreement for results-based payments with the World Bank. These have been important steps for Fiji and have helped us lay the foundation for where we want to go. But ultimately, we intend to go much further. We are currently conducting national consultations on a draft National Climate Change Bill. That bill would include specific legislation to incentivize projects, programs and activities that aim to reduce carbon emissions in Fiji. Part 10 and 11 of the bill, and please I urge you to go to our website www.economy.gov.fj and you can have a look at the bill, and please give your input also. You can do online submissions. Part 10 and 11 of the draft bill sets up the provisions required for Fiji to engage in the type of activities referred to under Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. Our draft legislation will enable government to pass relevant regulations to facilitate emissions reduction projects and activities through the revitalization and protection of carbon sinks and reservoirs. When passed, this Act will open up opportunities to engage with major emerging carbon offset programs such as the International Civil Aviation Organization Carbon Offsetting and Reduction Scheme for International Aviation, or CORSIA as we know it. Offsetting schemes must be transparent and indeed legitimate, and quickly replaced by meaningful low-carbon alternatives. At the same time, these systems can incentivize transition whilst also redirecting finance to small, vulnerable countries. In Fiji, we also recognize that mangroves, tidal zones, forests and oceans provide more than livelihoods, food security, soil protection and coastal resilience. These ecosystems, in fact, provide global public goods and offer significant potential to better protect, manage and rejuvenate blue carbon sinks and reservoirs in the Pacific. It is high time that the global services of our great blue continent were better recognized, incentivized and indeed rejuvenated. This is why Fiji has played a leadership role in pushing for greater recognition of oceans within the UNFCCC process. Valuing ecosystems means simultaneously investing to protect our environment and reduce social, environmental and economic risks. It quite simply makes market sense because it means we develop a pricing mechanism to incentivize behaviors that reduce our climate exposure. And as you know, many people actually react very positively to pricing. Without carbon markets, we run the risk of simultaneously underinvesting in the resources and services that are vital to climate risk reduction and undervaluing the true cost of ecosystems, degradation and extractivism. When it comes to valuing carbon sequestration services, few regions or environments are as undervalued as the Pacific. It is high time we change that lens and place value on the ecosystem integrity that the Paris Agreement serves to protect. Yesterday's erroneous economics may perceive the Pacific as a land-poor region with low productivity, but tomorrow's markets must better value the ecosystem services and environmental conditions on which all our products, services, and indeed livelihoods depend. Thank you, and I'm quite happy to take some questions later on. Thanks.